I'm Dr. Arthur Fegenholtz, and I'm the founder and developer of dynamic spinal stretching. And I'm here to share with you my life research working with sticks, which is an innovative technique for flexibility, balance, and coordination. I developed this as a result of working with wheelchair Olympic adults, and working with the stick really helped enhance their flexibility program. And so what you're going to be learning is a combination of yoga and Tai Chi principles applied to working out with sticks as a prop and as an extended lever. Whatever you're doing is fine, and to incorporate sticks is another enhancement into your fitness program. So I invite you to explore dynamic spinal stretching and come out and play. We'll now talk about the stance. And what we want to look for is the feet parallel, approximately shoulder distance, gentle bend in the knees. You don't want to lock your knees. Gentle bend in the knees, little tuck in the pelvis, slightly just pulling in, shoulders back and down, chin slightly tucked, lifting up. Perfect posture, relaxed, grounded, centered, and at peace with yourself in gravity. Minimal effort and work being done when you're positioned perfectly centered. Not too far forward, not too far back, left or right, but perfectly centered. So kind of get a sense of looking down, feeling the anatomy from the ground up to the top of your head, relaxing your hands, starting out calm and peaceful. And we begin before the warm-ups and before any of the stretching from this centered place. In looking at the stance from the side view, again, we want to keep the feet parallel, about shoulder distance. Gentle bend in the knees, little slight tuck of the pelvis, shoulders back and down, chin tucked slightly and leading with the head straight up to the sky. Relaxed, grounded and centered. And breathing naturally. Connecting with the ground, the earth, the sky, your breath, and your full body at ease. So we'd like to start with some warm-ups, and I'd like to start with the neck and then work my way down. So we'll start with a little bit of rotation, including your breath, awareness of breath and posture and motion. Breathing in, breathing out, going the opposite direction. Just connecting to yourself, to the environment, to your breath and your body. Present time. Going a little further with ease. There's no rush. Hearing yourself breathe is a good thing. Just loosening up the anatomy. I like to shake. Just loosening up the entire body, getting the heat going. Getting the circulation moving, getting the awareness into the entire body from the ground to the top of the head. And then isolating into the wrists. Circles. One direction, full range, nice and easy. Feeling yourself articulating. Moving, feeling, learning about yourself, enjoying your time, moving into the elbow, both arms simultaneously into the elbow and shoulder, going a little further, breathing a little deeper. And then the opposite direction, opening up the rib cage, chest, Stretching in both directions, out and in. Crossing the arms over. Another plane of motion. Pushing back, exhaling. Coming up a little higher. Breathing a little deeper. Reaching a little further. Bending the knees. Working the upper and the lower. Nice and easy. Feeling your way up and down. Up on the toes. Reaching. Little jump. Shake. Little bit of rotation for the torso. Real easy. Loosening up the shoulders, upper back, hips. Circles. Small circles in the beginning. Feeling the motion, not pushing, no rush, going in the opposite direction. A little further, exploring your range in a loving way. And then trunk rotation. Inhaling back, exhaling forward. And then switch opposite direction. Little cross crawl. Opposites. Getting coordination, balance. Feeling what it's like to leave the ground and to reach high. Reaching out, kicking back. Exploring your balance in another plane of motion. Reaching. Real easy. Lateral. Opening up the body in a different plane of motion. Shoulders. Both shoulders. One direction, opposite direction. One shoulder. And both shoulders. And then switch. Coming down to the knees. Circles. Circles. One direction, other direction. Nice and easy. Circulation. Getting in touch with the knee joints that support us in standing and moving and walking and many other activities. And then just shaking that out. A little bit on the ankle joint. Circles, one direction, the other direction. Connecting with the ground, with the ball of the foot, with the arch, the calf. Getting a sense of connection to the ground. And then shaking that out. A little bit of movement in front of the face. Crossing the midline. Another plane of motion. Small circle, larger circle, larger circle. Opening up more space. Taking up more movement with your body parts. Going a little wider with your stance. And then the opposite direction. A little bit of arms and hands, up and down. A little bit of the wrists, circles. Just loosening up the hands to prepare for holding a stick. open and close, shaking, loosening up. Back to center, taking a few deep breaths, connecting to the ground, connecting to the heavens, connecting to yourself, going inside quiet, being present with feeling the sensations of being warmed up. I'd like to explain the benefit of using a short stick as compared to using a long stick, because I like to use both. In using a short stick, there's a routine that I have with a shorter stick to warm up my shoulders and to enhance range of motion, and I also do a short stick for balance, but it's primarily because it's just easy to hold, easy to handle, and it's very manageable. And I can do certain things much easier with a short stick. But it's all about enhancing range of motion and articulating myself, stretching myself in a dynamic way or a static way. But it's different than working with a long stick. With a long stick, I have greater length and I have more wood to hold on to and more leverage to open up a little bit more of a dynamic move or dynamic stretch. And so the longer stick has its advantages based upon some of the dynamic moves, and especially for the static moves, because I need a longer stick, as compared to a short stick, which I primarily use for dynamic warm-ups, primarily. So first standing position with a long stick would be bending forward and rotating, and then just hanging on the stick. Again, we're starting in horse stance or perfect stance, leaning forward, sticks on my right-hand side, and just hanging. Okay. And as I hang, my low back gets stretched out, my right hamstring gets stretched out. I slowly slide down the stick and hold. I don't have to hold any pressure here. I could pull myself more closer to the stick to get more of a stretch. Variation would be I could lean to my left, lean to the side, get more of a stretch. And then I come back. I can change my grip, putting my forearm on the stick to pull myself around, locking out my legs. Coming back. Same way I went in, I want to come out. Change sides. One side's always different than the other, so be gentle and just be observant to what your sensations are as you stretch. Don't force, don't rush, don't bounce. Just relax, let gravity do the work. Just hold on to the stick. So you're leaning forward, then you're rotating, and then you're relaxing. Let gravity do the work. Slowly slide down the stick when you're ready. You could pull yourself a little bit. You can change your grip to rotate. I can lean to the side, get more of a stretch. Come back, hang, go down a little bit, relax. Come back up, back to neutral. So now we're warming up with a 6-foot stick, horse stance, very gentle rotation. Palms up to open up more of the shoulders, more of the chest. Nice and easy, rotating to one side, then the other side, gradually increasing the range. There's no hurry. It's all about repetition, slowly with awareness and breath. Be aware of the ground and your feet. Be aware of your entire backbone, leaning up against the stick. Little further range of motion. Then switching to shift your weight. I rotate to my right, rotate to my left, using my upper and my lower simultaneously. Strengthening my legs, getting range of motion in my spine, my chest. Then I'm going to cross midline. As I cross or go towards my midline, I raise my heel to engage my lower body a little differently. And I lean back and I relax. And I feel the quality of sensations that are being stimulated as I'm being supported to open up even more, to reprogram short muscles to lengthen muscles, to increase my range of motion in my own anatomy with the stick. Now I'm going to go lateral bending. I'm going to change my grip, palms down, gentle pressure down, back to neutral, gentle pressure down, and then I become a little bit more dynamic. Gradual, no force, there's no rush. Now I'm going to incorporate my legs, shifting weight, shifting weight, shifting weight. Pushing down so the other side comes up. Shifting weight, strengthening my legs while my upper body is developing range of motion. I can also go up on my heel, getting my calf, my arch muscles, pushing down to open up more range. By pushing down, my rib cage opens. I'm creating more space. I don't have to lift. I push down. I use my hips to accentuate the stretch into my rib cage and to all the related muscles. Now I'm going to incorporate a circle, small circle, small circle. Gentle pressure inward with the stick so that I work with a little bit of isometric principles. Small circle into a larger circle. Looking in the direction of the stick, strengthening my neck through range of motion. Taking a little wider stance and animating my lower body with my legs and my hips. Circle to the right, circle to the left. Engaging my upper body, lower body. There's no rush, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just articulating myself, taking myself out for a nice movement experience. Breath in, breath out. And then I go in the opposite direction. So I'll start with small circles, just articulating my shoulders. Again, my hands are directing the stick. My stance is perfect posture, horse stance. Centered, grounded. I'm connecting to the stick. I'm aware of gravity, and I'm comfortable in gravity. I make a larger circle. I'm going to shift my weight, engaging my lower body to get my coordination of my left and my right, my upper and my lower. Larger circle, larger circle. Now, my stick at this height will get tired, my shoulders will get tired, so I'll bring the stick down, right underneath my armpits, and I'll do the same move, rotation. What I'm doing here is I'm gently pressing forward to my midline to open up my chest wall on the opposite side. Chest wall, opening, stretching my chest muscles. At this height, again, I can shift weight, engaging my lower body. Hands are relaxed. Strengthening my legs. I can go down and up. Variation. I can shift and cross towards my midline, pressing into the stick, opening up my chest and shoulders and my thoracic spine. I can also gradually work down my spine so I could be a little lower and get further range into my shoulders. I can change the angle of my stick going low, stimulating different divisions of my chest wall and rib cage. I can go low and incorporate my legs. Take a wider stance, get more stability, more ground, wider stance. I can go high, open up a different angle, diagonal. I want to engage multi-planes, multiple directions. I can incorporate circles. I push up, push up, push up. Shifting weight, shifting weight. I can go the opposite direction, starting up here, bringing the stick down, incorporating my legs. And then I can take a little break and just give my shoulders and rib cage a little break by just pushing, pushing. I can even massage my back because I've got leverage here. I can pause and just relax and feel the feelings that I just stimulated in my chest and shoulders. So what we want to do is we want to put the stick in front of us, lean forward while the hips go back, stick in front, arms at the side of your ears, leaning forward, opening up, stretching, sliding down the stick, going a little wider with the legs, pushing forward, bending the knees to get a little bit more of a stretch, and coming back up. Sliding down a little bit more, dropping the head, climbing up the stick, and then balancing out by leaning back. Tuck the pelvis a little bit so that you don't jam the lower back. Nice, lean, gentle arching back. Pushing down on the stick to open up the front muscle, turning them on. Just by firing them by pressing down. One more for forward bending. I'm going to bring the stick behind my head, putting my hands behind the stick, gently leaning forward, letting the stick push my head down towards the ground, stretching my back muscles, stretching my hamstrings. No work, just letting gravity stretch me down. Relaxing, breathing. I can rotate more to one side, getting my left hamstring, or to the right, getting the right hamstring. Stretching the neck and the spine. And back to center. Bending the knees, and then coming back up. This is another way of working with the stick in a dynamic way, working the wrists, the forearms, elbows, just having fun with the stick. Swing it behind you, over your head, balancing out the left and the right, just having fun. Backwards, forward. This is going to be a two-handed lean forward to open up the chest and shoulders, and it's going to look something like this. So Willow's going to put the stick out in front of her. She's going to lean forward, opening up her arms and her chest, leaning forward to open up even more of a stretch. Okay, lean back a little bit more, that's it. She can drop her head and relax her neck. She can shift her weight towards me a little bit, shift away to the other side to get even more of a stretch. Lean forward, good. Arch yourself back a little bit. She can bend her knees a little bit, get even more of a stretch into the chest. She can bend her elbows a little bit. Okay, come on back up. She can shift into having one hand stretch, so just go one arm forward. Okay, she can lean forward, opening up again the front line in the arm and the rib cage. Give a little extension to the spine, back. Good, and then switch to the other side. One side's always a little tighter, usually on our dominant side. She can rotate away and lean even more forward. Yeah. So again, you will be determining the degree of stretch based upon how far you lean, how far you bend your knees or lock your knees. These are all variations to you giving yourself a nice, good feeling stretch. And come on back. Okay, so that would be in the front. So now we want to go to the side to incorporate a little bit of a lateral bend with some rotation. So again, feet parallel. Now on this one, she's going to lock her knees because we want to open up a stretch to the hamstring and to the lumbar spine, as well as the shoulder. So she's going to put the stick right on the outside of the shoe, the right shoe. Her right arm is going to be on top, and she's going to lean down, opening up the shoulder, stretching the lower back in through here, opening up the chest, getting that right hamstring stretched. You can slide down the stick a little bit, get more of a low back stretch, more of a hamstring stretch, more of a shoulder stretch. And come on back up. And then same thing to the other side. Place the stick, left arm on top, and you can drop your head. Again, she'll be stretching the left hamstring, the shoulder. Bring your arm up a little higher. Slide down, lock out your right arm. Yeah. Now the variation of this, she can bend her right knee and lean to the right and get more of a shoulder and rib cage stretch. That'd be a variation. And you just retrace the move just as the way you went back in. So this would be another forward bend with a spinal twist. Yeah, bring the stick right in front of you. Go a little wider with your legs. Good. So what she's doing here is just placing the stick right in the front, a few feet in front of her, rotating the spine, opening up the chest, using the stick to lean into as a prop. Now she can bend her left knee and lean towards here, opening up more of the chest, more of the arm, more of the lower back. Basic static stretch, using the stick as a lever and a fulcrum for stretching the rib cage. Coming back, switching sides. Nice and easy. Bringing the stick down. Proper placement, leaning into it, opening up the chest. Climb up a little bit of the stick, opening up more shoulder and rib cage. She can bend the right knee, lean more to the right to get more of a stretch, more of a static stretch into that shoulder, rib cage, and then come on back up. Good. So this is going to be another standing forward bending with some rotation to the spine and shoulders and chest. So let's bring the stick out into the side of the right arch, much of parallel the foot. So we're locking the bottom of the stick into the arch area, and she's going to be turning away from this side to open up the chest and shoulders. You can see, and she can also begin to turn out that right foot, opening up the hip, getting more of a shoulder stretch. She could lean towards me a little bit with the hip, bending the knee, open up even more of a stretch. Into the hamstring, into the shoulder, into the ribs. You can go ahead back. Now she can turn, go ahead, turn in, do the same thing to this side. Come back to neutral. Balancing herself out. Putting the stick on the left side of the arch. Rotating, opening up the shoulder, the chest, rib cage, turning the foot out, getting more of a hip rotation, leaning back, getting more of a shoulder and rib cage. Static stretch, leaning into the stick, working with gravity as a friend to get more of a stretch. And come on back. Okay, so this is going to be a 6-foot stick lateral stretch to the lateral ribs and lateral line, fascia and shoulder. So Willow's going to put the stick on the inside of the right arch. Your feet parallel. Placing the right hand on top of the stick, holding on firmly, comfortably. Placing the left arm in front of the stick, getting good leverage into the shoulder and rib cage, and then leaning away to open up the lateral line all through here. The further she leans towards me, the more of a stretch. This shoulder is creating a fulcrum for a radical stretch for the shoulders and ribs. Coming back to neutral, taking herself out, switching to the opposite side, placing the stick on the inside of the left arch, left hand on top, right shoulder in front of the stick, serving as a fulcrum, opening up the shoulder and the rib cage all through here as she leans away, getting more of a real good stretch. And then come on back. So this is going to be a shoulder stretch using a 6-foot stick. So Willow's going to bring the stick over her head. One arm, she's going to stretch the right side. Right arm's going to come down, elbow up. Bring your hand in front. Go a little wider with your legs. Now she's going to bring the stick down a little bit on the inside of the left knee, and she's going to rotate to open up the shoulder and the chest all through here. As she rotates, 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 lean a little bit that way to get more of the rib cage. So again, she's using the stick to lever a greater degree of range of motion for the chest and the intercostal ribs, as well as the triceps here. And if she changes her grip, bring your palm forward. So what she can do is bring the stick forward towards me. As she brings the stick up, she gets more of a shoulder chest stretch. Then if she rotates around, okay, and then lean towards me, bring your hand down. So now she's getting more of a chest, more of a shoulder. Bring the stick around that knee, come towards me. Now she gets more of a shoulder, more of a rib cage stretch. Yeah, lean back a little bit. There we go. And you hold that position for as long as feels comfortable. Okay, and then come on back out of it. Then you unwind, unravel, back to center, palms up, and then just switch to the other side. And you just go through the same sequence. Brings her arm down, her elbow up to the sky, brings her arm in front, gets a good grip, puts the stick on the inside of the knee, and rotates, opening up the shoulder, the rib cage, the intercostals here, the fascia. Good. And then see if you can switch a little bit, coming this way. Yeah, stand up, rotate a little bit out that way. So again, she's using the stick as a lever to open up more range of motion for a static stretch. Good, then come on back to neutral. Back up and back in front. Okay, so we're going to do a forward lunge, stretching of the groin and the hip flexor called the psoas. So Willow's going to project the 6-foot stick forward in a vertical manner, holding the top of the stick with both hands. Front leg is 90 degrees. Her left heel is slightly turned out to open up more of the groin. She's going to lean back slightly as she projects her hip and pelvis forward. And if she leans a little bit back towards her right side, she'll get a little bit more of the intercostals and some more of the groin stretch. Good. Then come on back. Then we're going to switch sides. Left leg comes forward to 90 degrees. The right foot heel turns out. Open up more of the groin. She's going to lunge slightly forward as she leans back, pushing down to activate the chest and the core, getting a nice static stretch as well as a balanced pose. Good, and then come on back. Excellent. So this is going to be a lateral stretch, just like the triangle pose in yoga. So Willow's going to turn to the right, place the stick down in front of her, bring it a little closer to you, so that it's vertical, straight up and down. So now what Willow's doing is she's holding the stick vertical, leaning on the stick, allowing herself to be balanced and supported by the stick so she can hold a real good stretch for the lateral side, for the front hamstring. She can slide down the stick a little bit more, get more of a stretch. Okay, good. And then come on back up. We can do the same thing to the opposite side. She's going to turn this way, place the stick, lock the knee, get the stick vertical, climb up the stick. She can either be looking up to work the neck muscles, she could look straight away, or she could look down, just relaxing the neck. There's options here. Okay, so look up. Good. And then come on back to neutral. Good. So Will's going to be doing a warrior pose with a 6-foot stick. So she's going to turn her right foot out and her left foot's going to turn in at 45 degrees. Turn in a little bit more on the left. Good, very nice. And open up your palms facing this, yeah. So now she's lunging forward at 90 degrees with the front leg, strengthening the legs, opening up the chest, and she can hang here for a long time holding that stick against her shoulders and spine, rib cage. Then she's going to rotate her lower body as well as her upper towards this side. Same wide stance, opening up the hips and pelvis, chest, shoulders. Nice pose. It's all about balance and symmetry. Back to neutral. Okay, so this is going to be another balance pose using the 6-foot stick for support and to hold on to for the balance pose. So Willow's going to raise her right leg, right arm, extend, lean forward a little bit more. So now she's strengthening the glute, strengthening the shoulder, working on strengthening the leg that's on the ground, balance pose. Okay, then she's going to come back to neutral. And we're going to switch sides, strengthening the other side. Good. So you can see a nice straight line here, balance with the arm and leg, nice straight line, strengthening the back muscles, shoulder muscles. So this will be a balance pose, but with the front arm touching the ground. So the leg comes up, arm comes up, and then the front arm comes down, comes down, comes down. Working the shoulder that's holding the stick, leg that's coming up, strengthening the glute, strengthening the leg that's on the ground, balance pose, using the stick for support, and switching sides. Yeah, go ahead. So she gets her balance pose, holds onto the stick for support, drops her front arm, works the leg muscles, the glutes, the back muscles, the shoulder muscles, as well as balance, strengthening the leg that's on the ground. Yeah, look down, and then come on back up. Good. So this will be another balance pose using a 6-foot stick. So Willow's going to raise her right leg, grab her foot, and then just sit to stretch her gluteal muscles. Why don't you bring your right arm up a little higher? So she's strengthening the leg that's on the ground, stretching the hip muscles with the right leg that's up, and opening up the front shoulder and chest. And then switch sides, coming out of that, switch arms, bring the other foot up, and then just sitting, stretching these gluteal muscles, opening up the shoulder. As she's pushing down, she's going to be working the core as well as the chest muscles. So multiple things are happening here as she's stretching the hips.